is actually a re-recording because I meant to upload this earlier today, but unfortunately, in my haste to try to make some space for the upcoming Spider-Man 2, I accidentally deleted the original video file. So, my dumbass has to go and redo this again. And who is this dumbass? My name is Barbara of Babs' Bungalow, and today is your lucky day, because today, of all the days, we are going to learn about the most popular cameo character in Mortal Kombat 1. No prizes for guessing who.
Shadow Sister. Nice hands. Corrupted Forest.
Yep, we're going to be talking about Sareena today. And, yeah, so a lot of people think they know Sareena, and it makes sense. You see her all over the place. You must reasonably think, hey, I gotta know a thing or two about this chick, right? I mean, it's all this for combos, right? Or this for annoying zoning. Well, there's more to her than just the blades, and we're actually going to start with our first ambush attack, which, because we talked about Frost last time, makes sense because Frost doesn't actually have any ambushes. Sareena has quite a few attacks that are summons, but she does have one specific move that is an ambush. Jakata's Curse. While Jakata's Curse is on the ground, if the opponent is standing in it, they will lose meter. They will lose up to 3 bar. They will lose a full bar of meter if they stand in it. One thing you can do with this is just throw them into it, and look at how much meter drain there was. That was almost 3/4 of a bar, even though I activated it not as early as I could, because remember, this is a cameo attack. Or this is an ambush attack, so you can kind of get away with activating it whenever. On a knockdown, you go into a throw, and by the time the throw's done, Sareena's gone, so she doesn't even get hit, and she can start recovering, but the opponent has lost meter. Because of how expensive meter is in this game, in that or how expensive combo breakers are, because it's 3 bars and your cameo can't be out in the field, that quite literally means that even the tiniest bit of bar loss means that you're gonna eat some damage, which with a high damage character like Raiden can be a terrifying prospect. Then we also have this fast knife toss attack called Old Moon. A really fast projectile that has really fast cameo recovery. So you could just throw this out there for a fast projectile, especially one after another in order to help enforce zoning. But one thing that this is really useful for is also actually helping to get in, because it is fast enough that at full screen the opponent is reacting, and if you have a teleport like Scorpion or Raiden, you can get in immediately. And even if you don't have a teleport, you still have full screen charges to move in, or even just a standard, or even just a normal forward dash or two, just to kind of help enforce come in and get in. But this move is mainly used as a check, to sort of check the opponent to see if they're paying attention. Because if they're moving in and not paying attention, well, suddenly they just ate 60 damage, which for a combination like General Shao and Jax doesn't seem like much, but if you're playing, say, Nitara and Motaro, who has 850 health, 60 damage is gonna sting. She also has this attack, the demonic flip kick. This attack is an invincible wake up. An incredible amount of utility for Sareena to have, because that means in a situation where you get knocked down, I need to change that back to, there we go. Right? I do not want to eat that axe for whatever reason, right? It might kill me, but I get knocked down. That is an invincible wake up. I just mistimed it. This happened last time too. Hold on. There we go. One dash. There we go. So, yeah, that is the utility of that particular attack. But now we need to talk about the elephant in the room. And you know what the elephant in the room is. It is Kia's Blades, a double boomeranging projectile attack that on paper doesn't seem to do a lot of damage, but looks flashy as hell. However, if you've not played Mortal Kombat 1 online at all, or haven't seen Sareena somehow, prepare to be amazed. Okay, that was that wasn't quite right. I actually meant to do back two as an ender to knock down, but you get the idea. Damage gets stupid with this character, with Raiden, especially if you're only going to spend 1 bar and both cameos. Now, and 2 cameos. But here's the thing. This is still kind of expensive because of how slowly this attack recovers. Note the bar. Landing for almost 47% on most characters, and Sareena's not back yet. Meaning that I'm without Kameo. Meaning that I don't have an invincible wake-up, meaning I have to wait a little longer for my invincible wake-up to kick in, or my check, or this pressure here. But one thing to take note of Sareena is that this attack is really useful for those characters for also breaking armor, because it hits 4 times and it boomerangs back. And all the time while the blades are on screen, they have an active hitbox. Meaning that even if you were clever and were like, okay, this guy seems to be just throwing these out willy-nilly, I'm going to teleport behind him. If you're not careful, you're still going to get clipped by those blades. So I would exercise extreme caution when dealing with Sareena with any character. As you've seen with Raiden, she basically helps him in a lot of ways, as Raiden in this game is a monster. His damage is insane. Almost 40% for 1 bar in a knockdown. And I didn't use any Kameo either. Sareena's juggles are grounded mostly, or combos are grounded, but imagine if, say, we had Jax or someone else come in with this kind of damage to help boost Raiden. But damage isn't really his problem. He's a well-rounded character, but he does tend to struggle in a couple of aspects that Sareena in particular really likes to help with. For instance, if I'm not, unless I'm mistaken, I don't believe he has an invincible wake-up. Teleport sure isn't. Electric Fly isn't. Razzle Dazzle isn't. Shocker isn't. And let me see if there's any other special moves I'm missing. Electric Orb is almost certainly not. Is Electromagnetic Storm an invincible wake-up? Let's find out. It is not. Raiden does not have an invincible wake-up. He has armored wake-ups in Electric Fly and a couple of other things, but he doesn't have an invincible wake-up. Sareena provides that by giving him an invincible wake-up, as you have seen here. She also helps protect him because his zoning is kind of slow, especially when he wants to really charge up the lightning in order to kind of create this wall, right? But if you just throw this out here, they might be scared to do that because they can alternate between lightning and kind of create this ranged mix-up game that allows Raiden to take on some of the strongest zoners in the game. So Sareena is a natural partner for this guy. And not just because I think, well, certain fanfiction-y thoughts about them. But that's not the point. For the next part, we're going to take a look at 3 more characters that would benefit from Sareena's toolkit. One thing I did neglect to mention in the Raiden part of this video is that, well, Sareena also has a hidden benefit that I think is part of the reason why people hate her so damn much. It's not just the combos or the crazy zoning or the utility that she has. I mean, a lot of cameos are really strong in a lot of different aspects. Just ask Cyrax or Jax. But Sareena also gives you a health boost. And that's interesting because despite all of this utility that she brings to the table, despite draining meter, giving you crazy combos, enhancing your zoning, and giving you an invincible wake-up, she also boosts your health. Jax extends combos and gives you unblockable setups. And has an invincible wake-up. But he definitely doesn't have some of the combos that Sareena has. No. And he has trouble at long range. So, and plus he's a big character, it kind of makes sense. Being so big means that he's easier to hit as a cameo, whereas Sareena, being a female character, has a fairly modest hitbox, which is something you always have to keep in mind in Mortal Kombat 1, is that female hurtboxes are always going to be a little bit better. In terms of them being slightly smaller, thus allowing our friends here to potentially get away with things that they normally can't. So let's take a good example of a character that really benefits from Sareena in terms of the health and grounded damage. Well, Nitara.
Soldier boy.
And General Shao. Not in this timeline.
Smoke 'em if you got it. The flashlights.
So, why would Nitara benefit from Sareena? Well, Nitara has the lowest health pool of any playable character in the game at 900, or 90%, what is normal. But with Sareena, as you may have guessed, with the extra health, she now has 950. Not a tremendous improvement, but it is an improvement nonetheless, and meaning that Nitara can survive longer, which could give her a critical edge when you consider that this character is kind of nuts when you get in and help her out. Problem is, all of her far-reaching normals are kind of telegraphed, fairly unsafe. So, who can help cover that? Who can help cover that if Nitara gets in order to maximize damage potential? Well, you can make a strong argument for Sareena because and unlike Raiden, Nitara here can actually wait it out because she has long enough combos to help help Sareena get back. So I goofed. Oh. What? What's the timing for that? There it is. Okay. Sorry. It's been a hot minute since I've actually messed around with Nitara, but you kind of get the idea. I'm going to keep practicing with this and maybe release a bonus video on Twitter, but because Sareena can help keep the combos on the ground for Nitara, it means Nitara doesn't have to be in the air for her combos, which being in the air is great, except it costs meter to cancel in the air immediately. And again, being in the air can be risky. So starting on the ground and working your way up is a great way to help Nitara maximize the damage that she has so that she doesn't have to, well, get the crap beat out of her so hard. But then you might be thinking, okay, we get it. Sareena loves her combos, and she loves using combos. But what if I don't like combos? What if I want to be obnoxious in my setups? What if I, at the very least, want a little bit of safety for when I set up so that I can absolutely mollywop opponents later?
Out of sight. Mr. Universe. Sareena, Arms of Steel. Tomb of the Dragon Army.
Kenshi. Oh boy, Kenshi. Now, a lot of characters, when they think setup characters, they think things like Geras with his hourglasses and sandstorms and all of that. And Sareena can definitely benefit him too, because of the fact that his back throw is a great way to kind of drain meter, for instance, or some of her combos can allow her to, at the very least, get moving, or at the very least help Geras maximize damage. And checking opponents at long range means, instead of worrying about zoning, Geras can actually use zoning to his advantage, especially if his opponents don't have a full screen projectile, like Melina. As a result, Geras would be able to check with the knife toss, then get a free hourglass. And the hourglass summoning string, well, that works extremely well with the Hell Circle, so it's a great place to start. But what about the master of setup, Kenshi? Because once he has Sento out, which I have no idea how to play this character, because I've never played the puppet character, so Kenshi mains, feel free to roast me in the comments. But the idea is that Sareena helps ensure safety by allowing, for instance, Kenshi to have an invisible wake-up. That is safe, by the way, in order to knock him down, drag out the sword. Reversing the pressure almost immediately. Similar sort of thing by just checking them with the long-range projectile. And, of course, if you happen to get a back throw, I mean, a little extra meter drain ain't gonna hurt nobody, especially since that means they won't be able to break what's coming when the ghost is out. If you ever want any idea for what that could mean, watch some high-level Kenshi play. It is horrifying what this character is capable of in the right hands. Sareena can help there by naturally making sure that they have less resources to try and escape the setups, and by making sure that he can activate it relatively safely. At the very least, making an attempt to do so. There may be better cameos for this, but Sareena, so far, is a very strong, well-rounded character. And last, but certainly not least, we need to talk about how Sareena's projectiles can help in the zoning war, by doubling down on zoning. How about we talk to Rain?
Rain, soldier boy. Why are you so hot? Smoke 'em if you got it. Hanging gardens.
So this right here is described as a premier zoner character, Rain. He's got the whirlpool. He's got a water projectile. He can control the sky. He also has a water shield, which allows him to absorb projectiles while continuing with zoning. And he has Rain God, which summons a big old projectile out of the sky and sends them flying. But notice that, of course, that means Rain is going to have trouble if somebody can get in. Well, sort of. You know how Netherrealm zoners tend to be. But not only does Rain have the ability to potentially extend combos if he needed to, by... Hold on. Okay, that doesn't knock down. You kind of get the idea. He can help, Sareena can help at close range, but that is not what you use Rain for. At full screen, the opponent has to come to you when the circle is out. Which of course you might think, well, Sareena's just such an open target. Did you forget about Water Shield? I can activate this, and at the same time, summon Sareena. And if I were to meter burn it, it follows me. So I can actually dash in and use my shield to cover Sareena while she drains your meter. Which is a huge deal, because that means, of course, that while that water shield is up, Rain threatens with his projectiles. Especially one that stuns. Giving him enough time to, well, if he hits this, back up. a well-timed blast, a blast-summon or ambush combination, forces the opponent to lose their meter. Again, meaning less meter for armor, meaning that they're going to have a hard time coming in on rain. Or a harder time, I should say. Now, of course, there's obviously one other thing to consider, and that's, well, Sareena has a projectile of her own. It's a fast projectile, too, which is something that Rain, noticeably, doesn't really have. Yeah, he's got this, but it's an anti-air. But Whirlpool is really slow. Rain God is super telegraphed. And even his fastest projectile, I mean, it's not that quick. It's certainly not as quick as Sareena, who can just call this out at any time. So she can actually help enforce the range pressure by enabling Rain to kind of keep the pressure up just by checking them with a fast projectile. Because, you know, it's hard enough when you have to deal with this, and this, and this, which, by the way, on meter burn, launches. Or Whirlpool, which also launches and hits low. So you might want, so you're gonna think, oh, I'm gonna block low in this situation. Well, if you block low, you might eat knife chip, which isn't much, but it could kill you if you're not ready. And of course, if you want to be cheeky, you can absolutely just throw this out there and test their reactions to see, oh, is that really going to do it? Or use the boomerang blades as a surprise closer, because 70 damage is the same damage as a sweep, right? So if you think a sweep can kill, well, try doing a sweep at full screen when they're not expecting it. That is gonna suck for the opponent, especially if they absolutely positively hate dealing with zoning. So that's Sareena in a nutshell. She is a jack of all trades who focuses on offense. She brings a really fast projectile to help deal with zoning and counter zoning, remember, because a fast projectile that can blitz through and hit someone before they can hit the projectile, well, if you can beat them from throwing the projectile, they're not throwing the projectile, which gives you an advantage because it means, yeah, you hit them, but they didn't hit you either. So that is kind of important in fighting games. And of course, with Kia's Blaze being able to be a massive combo extender, you can probably imagine that a lot of characters would appreciate that. Especially if they have short strings or don't really have massive combos of their own. Sareena can help them by boosting their combo damage to maximize every possibility that they can before they return back to their strong suits, like Reiko zoning or Natara's aerial mobility. And because she raises the health of your characters like Natara would appreciate the health boost. And you can't go wrong with any ways that allow you to guarantee making sure that they don't get any meter. Dearest, for instance, Kenshi, for instance, and all of this sort of thing. Sareena is popular because she's flexible. And because she's flexible, it means she can functionally do whatever she damn well pleases. And fit with anybody that she damn well pleases. Lots of these characters do appreciate a good, flexible Kameo. And if you're just getting used to the Kameo system in general, Sareena's a great place to start, because she has an ambush, so you can get used to ambush timings, and her summons are strong. Again, Raiden doesn't have an invincible wake-up, but Sareena does. And giving characters invincible wake-ups is nothing to sneeze at. Because again, invincible is the key word here. You hit them for overextending, but they don't hurt you. And that's basically Sareena in a nutshell. And you might be thinking, well, alright, so Sareena sounds really strong. Is she too strong? A lot of people think so. Me? I'm kind of on the fence. Her whole deal is her flexibility, so I don't want her to lose the tools that she has necessarily, or to make them too expensive, thus making them useless. But if there's anything I would change about Sareena in order to balance her out, why is she boosting health? With all of the flexibility that she brings to the table, why is she boosting health? when that's just an extra piece of utility she frankly doesn't need. So if you want to normalize Sareena, that's a good way to start it. Don't have her boost your health, or even have her reduce your health. I mean, Motaro is in a similar position, and this big guy has a lot of crazy utility on his side. And he is definitely the nightmare of zoners. You could probably guess who we're going to be talking about next. Don't forget to be awesome, my friends, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
My neighbor, Motaro.